Over the course of the next few weeks, I'll be running a breakdown of the major candidates in the 2023 elections in Nigeria and what they stand for in the Nigerian political scene. Today, we'll begin with the candidate of the APC in alphabetical order. That's why the APC is coming first. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, amid debates about his educational antecedents and qualifications. Now, this has been typical in almost every Nigerian election, and it has become a perennial discourse. Every candidate has one thing or the other to clarify before Nigerians, and we'll do our best on VSA to break these candidates down and offer a clearer view about their political antecedents to Nigerians. Welcome to the Square. I'm Sulaiman. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, ahead of the 2023 general elections. Now, Tinubu, a former senator in Nigeria, was governor of Lagos State between 1999 and 2007. He's the current national leader of the APC and one of the strongest politicians in the country. Tinubu's educational qualifications have been thrown into doubt, as some sections of the population claimed he didn't attain the educational status he claims. INEC did not reveal his primary and secondary educational credentials, as he said they were lost during the military days. He had fled Nigeria in the 1990s in the heat of the Sani Abacha regime and said he lost some certificates in those raids. Are Tinubu's academic qualifications and the controversies that surround it a slight on his presidential aspiration? These questions and more will be broken down by our guest on the show. Joining me to unpack this is Lukman Owolabi. He's a public affairs analyst, and pretty much later, Liborous Oshoma, who is a legal practitioner, will be joining me as well. Lukman, good to see you, and thanks for your time. I see you still stuck in the Lagos traffic. Well, thanks against all odds for joining us. Now, what's your take on the developing story about APC's candidate certificate?
Well, it has always been a recurring decimal. And this is what I say, you see, when a short man begins to cast a long shadow, you know that the sun is about to set. We all knew this was going to come up again because it came up in 1999 when he wanted to be the governor of Lagos State. He was not that prominent by the time he ran for senatorial election, when he became a senator. But that was in the Third Republic. And by this time, in 1999, it became an issue. And it had to become an issue, because of the way he also emerged as the candidate. The front runner then was Mr. Funshaw Williams. Mr. Funshaw Williams was the front runner. And because of the activities of Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Nadeco and the sympathy he had with the Afenifere leaders at that time, it became imperative that, look, they should look at this man again. Because in the main, Funshaw Williams was not really in the mainstream of politics, the Western regional politics. He was not a mainstream figure. So it was easy for them to discard Funshaw Williams and then bring on Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And what happened at that time was he was still in exile. While in exile, they chose him and he had to fill his form. That was when Tokunbo Akufo-Yomi, who also became a senator, had to fill the form on his behalf. When he filled the form on his behalf, instead of University of Chicago, instead of the Chicago State University, he wrote University of Chicago because he couldn't differentiate between the two. And that became an issue. It got to a point that Chief Gani Fahimi had to even go to court, but the court said he had no locus after he had become governor, that it was only the Lagos State House of Assembly that could do anything about it because of the immunity that he enjoyed. And he went on straight to the, and if I mean, was strident, he went on to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court said, look, there's not really nothing we can do about this. The guy has immunity. You can investigate him, but we cannot bring him to court. You cannot try him. So the case went back to the Lagos State House of Assembly. So there were two petitioners. They were invited to come and, put flesh to the bones of the story that they brought out. And when they called them, none of them could show up. They even went to their house. We don't know what happened around that time, but they also left the house. Nobody could trace them. And then, the matter died down, and Asiwaju became governor, first term, second term. And it was always there. We knew it was latent. The story will always come up because in the form he filled, he claimed that he went to got the Federal Government College and then St. Paul's Aroloya. Number one, there was no school at St. Paul's Aroloya. So, and if you attended schools in Lagos, there's no way that people will not say, this is my classmate. So that was actually a lie. It was, perjury as it was. But because he had immunity, there was really nothing they could do. So at that time, when they left the governorship seat.
You can hear me, Lukman. If you can, I think I'd like to jump in here. Apologies for buttoning.
Okay.
Good. Let me bring Liborous here. Liborous, Oshoma, good to see you, and thanks for your time as always. Now, we started off speaking with Lukman to let us in on what he thinks about what's going on now concerning Tinubu's Certificate Saga. But again, we've seen people on social media and at different fora saying, that a certificate truly important in running the affairs of governance.
Yeah, thank you, Sulaiman. The Constitution, our Constitution is even silent on the issue of certificate. It says if you are a school cert holder, once you get to the required age, 35 and above, you are trained up to school cert holder or its equivalent. And the Constitution defines the equivalent as having, the capacity to read and write in the opinion of INEC. So that is the provisions of the Constitution. But the question here is, if you say you are educated, that is when certificate now becomes the issue. You remember the case of Bayelsa, David Lyon and his deputy governor, who had to, after winning the election, was denied the occupancy of that seat over discrepancies in his name. So if you look at it from that point of view, you would say that some of these things are very important. The question is simple. All of these issues ought not to have been. It's a very simple issue. It's like Sulaiman saying, Sulaiman Aledeh, may I know you? You're coming for an interview, and somebody says, can we get to meet you, please? Oh, my name is Sulaiman Aledeh. My name is Liborous Oshoma. I attended Azama Primary School, Ikpe Uzaire, from this date to this date. From there, I proceeded to Otaru Grammar School, now known as Aledeh of Fatima College, from this date to this date. From there, I went to Bender State University. It's as simple as that. You're coming for a job interview. Until we begin to see political office as a job interview, you want to be interviewed for a job. So it is the people, the electorate, that are interviewing you now. So it's a very simple thing. Oh, I misplaced my certificate, but I attended so and so school, or I didn't attend any of these schools. I took the GCE from home, and from there I proceeded to the university. There are people who took GCE from home and proceeded to the university. And there are people who along the way changed their name As I'm here now, there are some persons who know me as Michael Edebeli, because in Warri then, there were people who knew me as Michael Edebeli. But there are some who knows me as Liborous Edebeli Oshoma. So, midway, I have a friend whose name is Osaibogo Ekroswey. He went abroad and changed it to Ben Luther completely. It is allowed there. So, it's a simple thing. If a candidate, you are interviewing for a job and your age becomes an issue, your schools that you attended become an issue, and you know everything around you is always an issue, then there is a big question. So that's basically what is at play here. I also have heard people say that, no, let us look at the competence of the person and not the certificate. No, that's not it. It is not the people that brought out the issue of the certificate. It is the candidate. It is the person that brought out the issue of certificate. I said, I attended so and so school. And so and then the people are now right to say, okay, if you attended so and so school, please, who are your classmates? Who and who did you attend school with? Where is the certificate? If the man had been silent and said, well, I didn't attend any of this school, just like Aminu Masari. If you remember the case of Aminu Masari said he never said he attended secondary school. He said the constitution says school cert, a primary school living certificate. And as at the time he was to write his primary school living certificate, primary school living exam, that because of poverty, he couldn't afford the fee. But he has equivalent because he eventually went into civil service and rose to the position of a permanent secretary. That killed the entire brouhaha about certificate or not, because the man said, I never claimed to have. If you also remember the case of Ronald Reagan, when Ronald Reagan was to contest for president of America, he was 70. He knew that his age would be a question. It would be an issue for debate. The first thing he did was to put out his medical record to show competence, to show capacity. So these are the issues. The era of new media is here.
I'll come back to the era of new media, because it's quite an interesting one. And again, we've been following you on new media, and we'll see what you've done just today. But we'll come back so that we can expatiate more. Let's come to you, Lukman. Lukman, yes, yeah, I think my producers got that up. Lukman, just give me a minute. Liborous, this is you, and this is your Twitter handle, and you've gone all out, asking the big question, creating a hashtag, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, may I know you, sir? And that's about 6 or 7 hours ago. Quickly here, before we come to Lukman, let us in on why you have taken to this.
Okay, for me, it is not a difficult task. So that because people are making it look difficult, I want to know the person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If I say he's my candidate, I should be able to tell people, you know, who my candidate is. For example, look at how Mumuni Jubri made a mess of himself on live television the last time because he couldn't answer basic questions about his candidates. So the issue is, if I want to talk about my candidate, I should be able to know what the school my candidate attended, and you know, he claimed he attended, and not to begin to guess. I also don't want to make a mess of myself. So it's that simple. That's what I'm asking. May I know you, sir?
I'll come back so that we see how simple that is. Let's come back to you, Lukman. Lukman, I see the smile on your face. Because for Liborous, who is not a politician, who is not in the camp of the APC's candidate, he thinks it's simple. Now, Lukman, you see, the Certificate Saga has become a regular episode. I said to a guest earlier, and I said, it's deja vu. We saw this leading up to the 2015 election in Nigeria. The same party, APC's candidate, now President Buhari, a lot of people spoke about, you know, the need, or let's bring the Liborous question, may I know you, sir, was what people were asking at that point in time. So what do you think is the problem, Lukman? Certificate Saga again, and within the APC?
see, let me go back to that of Buhari. I think he was...
by all means, you can go back.
Yeah, for Buhari, I think it was a kind of mischief played by so many people saying certificate. The man said, I don't have the certificate, and he told us the circumstances of how the certificate gone missing. He was in detention, and military people came to his house and raided that, and it was never an issue, because he had attained the position of a general, in the army. And let's even assume that he never had any certificate. That had taken care of it, because even if you have a primary school certificate and you have spent like 10 years in the public service, that takes care of it. So the Buhari certificate issue, was just a kind of mischief that shouldn't have even happened in the first place. But at that time, people were just looking for anything, to dent the image of the guy. And coming to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as you said, it's deja vu, and we saw it coming. Even during the primaries, many people made it an issue that, look, if we want to win this election, why don't we go for someone who is not tainted in any way? Why would we go for someone who, instead of campaigning for the office, we are busy defending a certificate? That is the problem we have. We saw the problem coming, and when he won, we also knew that focus will be, shifted to that. And that is exactly what is happening now. So he has to come clean. What happened in the past, where they made so many mistakes, where they filled so many information that were not correct. That's why when they were filling this new form, the position of secondary and primary school did not feature at all. Because if you put down one, then you have to prove it, that you actually attended children's home school, because I attended children's home school in Ibadan. So I can say, I can name at least 10 people that went to children's home school with me, even though I did not finish there. I came to Lagos and finished at Adrao International. So I could name a couple of people that I can call their names and say, corroborate what I've said. But they try to play safe this time around. They did not put any school, and then says, I attended Richard Daley College. I don't think that one too is in doubt, because even Richard Daley had already, written that it is correct. He attended the school. They had some extramural classes here, and he was even awarded a distinguished alumni certificate in 2002. So I don't doubt that. Then the other one is the Chicago State University. Initially, they made the mistake about University of Chicago and Chicago State University. But that one, eventually, it was defended, and they said, look, it was the guy that filled the form that made the mistake. It was Chicago State University. Chicago State University has also come out to write, because many people had made inquiries. They made inquiries as far back as 1999. And it's not in doubt that he also went to Chicago State University. The problem is when you talk about the name, we are talking of integrity. We are talking of, sterling qualities of someone who wants to become president. And when you keep, when you cannot come clean and say, look, my name was Amoda Yekini, so and so. I changed my name by the time I was leaving for the United States of America, so and so time. And when I got there, I used the name of somebody so and so to travel. And when I got there, I did extramural classes. And, the whole thing became a mess from the beginning, because the Nigerian, particularly those who want to go into politics, they don't feel that all these little things are important. And they are, because it taints your integrity when you have to use 1,000 lies to cover 100. That's the problem we have here. I don't believe that it is not a fact that he eventually attended Richard Daley College and Chicago State University. But the whole thing that surrounds it, it's about integrity. So we are now talking of the integrity of someone that wants to become the president of Nigeria. And if you cannot come clean, then it says a lot.
Let me jump in here now. You're talking about integrity. Again, and you also said little things are important. Liborous, now let's talk a bit of some of the little things. Recall in 1993, also Tinubu's role in the MKO Abiola story. Now, what do you make of Tinubu as a person, his political life, and what he's done in Nigeria? Linking this with the talk about integrity, which Lukman has spoken about earlier.
Give it to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's a great man by all standards in Nigeria, an astute politician, a builder of men, and you can name so many people that he has had the privilege of elevating, giving opportunities, and who still till date, are standing with him, But it doesn't end there. I tell people, the children, some of the children who were born after Bola Ahmed Tinubu left office, today are leaving secondary schools. So some of them very soon will be of voting age. As at the time he was governor, the children who were about 3, 4, 5 years at that time, today are going into university, are even in the university. So these people are not children who you will tell, oh, this is who the man was as a governor. They want to ask relevant questions, questions that are relevant to their life today. And so, yes, while we agree that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is fantastic, he's a fantastic guy, he knows how to surround himself with the competent people, but there are some very little issues that we probably undermine that will allow to pass previously, but now that people will ask questions about. My friend and brother talked about in 1982, when he was a senator, 1992, when he contested as a senator. As at that time also, there was no new media. So it was difficult. You have to write letters to university to begin to verify if somebody attended the university. And so also at that time, the major media houses you have were the ones owned by government, controlled by government agencies. So, but the world of today has changed, it's dynamic. And if you remember also, as at that time, if you remember, in 1979, even Abiola was accused of launching the Concord newspaper to campaign against a fellow Yoruba brother. And in 1993, some of these persons, some of the Yorubas also were accused of betraying Abiola's presidency. Until date, what happened to those people? They've gone into political, extension. But somebody like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he's been standing tall since 1999. He's been able, like the Machiavellian that he is, take out even those people that made him king. But if care is not taken, this might be, if this matter is not properly handled, there's no big deal to this issue. I think, because another question here is that the age of this candidate is also shrouded in secrecy, and so some persons are of the view that if the man comes out with the primary school is that he attended and the time he attended that primary school, that might be a pointer to his real age. For me, it is never too late to do the right thing.
Well, it's a good place for me to jump in now. It's a good place for me. What?
The CJN, for example,
yeah.
No matter how much some persons would want to criticize the CJN, the fact that he threw in the towel, a lot of people are already calling him a man of honor. So if Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu comes out today to say, just the same way he did to say, I want to clear the air on this Chicago State and Chicago University of Chicago. I attended Chicago State and not University of Chicago. If he comes out today to say, yes, my certificate was stolen, but this is the primary school I actually attended because Afikoyomim erroneously feeds, something else in the former document, This is a primary school and a secondary school I actually attended. A lot of people like us will give him accolades for that, for coming out and standing tall to clear the air.
Let's bring in Lukman quickly here, because Lukman, did you notice that we try to move forward, talk more about his other traits, personality, which Liborous has spoken so well of, but somehow it went round and we got back to where we started. They talk about integrity, they talk about the certificate. Now, how important is this? Looking at the back and forth, and Liborous also painted a picture talking about the social media space, which definitely will be washed with, stories, comments surrounding the APC's candidate on his certificate. So what truly should the APC as a party be looking to addressing?
You see, in Nigeria of today, many of these things we talk about, they seem normal to some of us that we should talk about them. But if you look at the situation on the ground, you will know that they have very little effect on the minds of the electorate, because many of them have already made up their mind on. Remember the time when they were talking about Buhari's certificate. Some even came up to say, look, even if it is NEPA bill that he shows, we are still going to vote for him. So I believe that what is happening now, well, it's for him, it's a warrior. I know Bola Tinubu is a warrior. He will fight this to the end, and that is one of the traits that he has, and that is what has seen him get to where he is today. If he started with working as a domestic staff to Abibatu Mogaji, and from there, he worked his way to the top, and he has always been a consistent fighter. The truth is, I never believed in my wildest imagination that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was going to come out as the candidate of APC. Everything pointed to others, not him. But he fought his way, fought that battle, and became the candidate. And I can tell you, as it is, we believe more in political parties than in individuals in Nigeria. When people go to vote, you will discover. So when people talk about structure, this is what they mean by structure. If it was easy for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he would have left the APC and gone to another party to contest. But he knows how difficult that would be, because you're not going to be carrying everybody. You're only going to be carrying your loyalists along. That's why he stayed put, regardless of all the shenanigans that was going on. He stayed put in APC. That, look, all I need to do is be a candidate of APC, because people actually vote along party lines in Nigeria. And I tell you, that is exactly what is going to happen.
All right, okay, let's take a moment. When we come back, we'll speak more about the man, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whom some have said he's the architect of a brand new Lagos. Stay with us. Ahead of an election that is considered probably the most important to Nigeria since 1999, Tinubu represents a political generation that has caused mixed reactions amongst Nigerians. Now, the former Lagos State governor is credited with being the architect of a modern Lagos, a claim many have refuted and punched holes into, especially in the face of the struggles and modern realities of the state. Amid all this, there are cases of corruption and questions on his discipline as a politician. Now, a presidential candidate, Tinubu, is on the lips of many as the 2023 elections draw near. Stay with me as Lukman, Owolabi, and Liborous Oshoma. Gentlemen, thanks for your time. And if you remember, Liborous, one of former APC chieftain, Timi Frank, has spoken. Specifically, he said by presenting his basic certificates, by not presenting his basic certificates as required by law for those running for political offices in the country, Tinubu stands automatically disqualified from partaking in the presidential race. You're a lawyer. Help us make sense of what Timi Frank has said in that interview he granted earlier.
Yeah, I do not subscribe to that position by not presenting the basic certificate, because the Constitution didn't say which certificate you should present. The Constitution just says that you should provide the basic. If you have the basic or its equivalent, it's okay. If you have something that is higher than that, then it is okay. The question here is, the man did not provide the basic, but he provided something higher than that. And people are saying there is a gap in what you have provided. There is a loophole. Please, can you fill this loophole? Between these years, what were you doing?
How important is that gap?
It's a moral burden. It is not a legal issue. It's a moral burden. And then quickly, let me also quickly correct an impression also. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the moment APC settled, if you are a political watcher, the moment APC settled for direct or whether for primaries, it was obvious that it was for Bola Ahmed Tinubu to take. The reason why they were looking for other options, consensus, and trying to run away from conducting a primaries was because Bola Ahmed Tinubu, controls majority of the structure of the party. He's the first politician in Nigeria that does not hold any political office in the party, yet he's called the leader of the party. There is no other person that has been so described in the politics of Nigeria. So in as far as APC is concerned, he controls, is like a major shareholder in the party. And then secondly, on the issue of Buhari, I think the question of Buhari's certificate, because of the precedent and the activities or the impunity of Buhari's governance, and that is why a lot of people now are circumspect. That yes, we once made the mistake of saying, even if this man brings tissue paper, we'll vote for him because we thought he had the competence. But today, we are shocked and surprised that all of that we expected, we now say, no, leave out the certificate. Let's just focus on the competence and the integrity. We discovered that the man had none. And so today, we don't want to make the same mistake. We want to be sure of what we are going to. We don't want to follow blindly also the way we follow blindly in 2015. That is why people who hit at ordinarily would have asked questions. People like me are also saying, no, look, we can no longer just sweep some of these things under the carpet. Let us be clear. Let us know what is happening. But like I said, another thing is the fact that there's a lot of controversy surrounding the person of Tinubu. One, his health status, his age, his source of wealth, his childhood, the schools he attended. The allegations also that the man became so super rich because he controls the wealth of Lagos. There are also allegations that he dictates almost everything that happens in Lagos, who gets what, when, and how. And now that he wants to vie for a higher office, the stakes are higher. People also are saying if we must, hand over Nigeria to this kind of person, we should also be able to understand the kind of person he is, where he's coming from, who he's been with. We should know him. Sulaiman, I applied to join police in London, and the form they gave to me was unimaginable. They wanted to know everything about me, even before I was born. who my ancestors are, to trace my family genealogy. That is how detailed society have grown. But here, somebody just comes up and says, I have been asked to come and go. I've been asked to come and become. And then nobody's asking, what are your antecedents? What have you done before? When Goodluck Jonathan came and everybody said he had no shoe, I asked the question, where has this man, what has this man done as governor to warrant us giving him the presidency? The same thing, Buhari, where has this man delivered a lecture before on how to fight corruption or how to grow an economy that we will now begin to say, look, just close your eyes and give everything to him? And that is why people today are working and saying, look, yes, we agree you have competence, but we want to know your age, we want to know your health status, because you have a president who is most time in the hospital than at the villa. So now we also need to know, if you get there, will you have the capacity to be able to carry out the functions of the office?
These are questions, honestly, these are questions that Nigerians are asking, and these are questions that we should also ensure that candidates, that's the difference we bring to bear here on Village Square. We need to ask the questions of everyone who's coming forward. And Liborous, I'll come back so that we can talk. I want Liborous to also weigh on this, but this, I want Lukman to jump in on this first. Lukman, Tinubu has said he's yet to find a running mate. And many said, well, wait a minute, sir, you did say, yeah, you've been working to getting this for a long time. It's a lifelong ambition. For a man who said it's been a lifelong ambition, is saying to the people, I'm yet to make a choice of the one who will go on this journey with me. So what do you make of this first from the point of view of a Nigerian and the party, and also maybe the strength of INEC's statutes?
A man remains wise as long as he seeks wisdom. It is the moment he thinks he has found it, that is when it becomes a fool. There's an Igbo adage that says, when a chicken gets to a strange land, it stands on one foot. See, Bola Tinubu has been everything in Nigeria, but he has never been a president. He has never been in national prominence as a candidate of a major political party vying for the presidency of Nigeria. It's a whole different ball game in Lagos, where you can control, the whole party machinery and dictate to anybody that this is what we want. As Yorubas used to say, you can say that to everything, to everybody there, and it will be obeyed. But
well, if you don't mind, perhaps maybe you let us in on what that means. We have all that audience from outside Nigeria watching. So what's that?
I've already said it before. I already said what it meant before even saying it in Yoruba. It could say, everybody will obey what I have done here. Yes, and when I say Pashewa, it gives an order and everybody takes to it. In Lagos, particularly, and no, not a single soul will say, no, sir, because that is Lagos. When you are now, thrown into national prominence and you become the presidential candidate of a major political party, definitely there will be other tendencies. So it is not a question of, this is what I want. You have to work within the framework of the political party. There are other tendencies. There are some people that made you become the presidential candidate. It was not only because you are fluent in the language of money. Many people are fluent in the language of money, but they will not attain that position if the powers that be within the political party does not want you. So knowing that there were meetings, there were, kinds of deals that went on until he became the candidate. So he has to also cool down and say, look, guys, what do we do about this situation? This is the situation. And then you also have to take into consideration what is happening in other political parties that are contesting with you. So that is the sensitivity of that position. That's why he cannot say, I'm sure in his mind, he already had someone that he wants to be his running mate. But he cannot say, he cannot insist and say, this is the person I want, because he has to satisfy other tendencies. That is the problem with national politics. And it is going to happen, and that is exactly what is happening. If it was incumbent on him to just name the person and then they go with it, he would have done that long ago. So for being in a major political party like the APC, the governing party, there are tendencies that you have to look at the way that some 18 senators, who were skimmed out of their position by the governors, who indeed are the overlords in the states. They were agitating. They wanted to leave the party, and because they were annoyed, they felt that they were skimmed out. And Bola Tinubu had to go and meet them and say, look, they are so this my government is so wide that it can contain everybody. Don't worry. Even if you are skimmed out of the Senate position, there are other things that you can benefit. So don't leave the governing party and go elsewhere. That is how, this politics is played. So he has to look at all the other tendencies that are there.
Let's bring Lukman again. Let's bring Liborous. You said something for the first time in his political life. We're getting to see Tinubu on the national, ticket, on the ballot, on the national election. And Liborous, can Tinubu's performance as governor of Lagos State be used as a yardstick to drive his presidential ambition, which is a national one?
Yes and no, because depending on the side you are looking at it from, there are a lot of people that believe that his performance in Lagos State has not been anything favorable or palatable, considering the fact that recently Lagos was declared as the worst city to live in Africa, and the second worst in the world. So depending on how you're looking at it. But on the issue of running mates, I completely agree that there are a lot of considerations one has to put into these things before choosing a running mate. It's different. It's a different ball game. When you are a state governor, it becomes very easy for you, because the scope is narrower. But when you become a president, especially one who is a Muslim from the south, and then now you have a large voting population in the north, and you will have to choose a candidate this day and era where religion, has become a key factor to consider. When also you have a lot of controversy surrounding you, would you want to choose another candidate, no matter how competent, who also have controversy surrounding him? Would you want to choose a candidate who is competent but not ready? Or would you want to choose a candidate who is incompetent but a Christian? So all of this consideration, you want to carry everybody along, you want to consult wider. And I think it is better for him to take his time to reach out, before choosing one. Look at what has happened to the PDP and Atiku. The backlash that came with the emergence of Okowa. If Atiku had bided his time a little bit more, he probably would have made a better choice. My opinion, though, I think he would have made a better choice than what had happened, the running mate he had chosen. That's why it is easy, it is better to consult wider. And then on the issue of Lagos State, the achievements in Lagos State, a lot of people, mind you, Sulaiman, let's also be very careful. A lot of people that are voting age today were children when Bola Ahmed Tinubu was a governor. So you are asking them, oh, Bola Ahmed did this. They will tell you they are not seeing them or they didn't see them. Some also have put a big question mark on his so-called blueprint, because they said, oh, Bola Ahmed Tinubu had a blueprint, Fashola came, continued with the blueprint, Ambode came, and then cemented it. People will ask you, if indeed there was a blueprint. In 2003, Bola Ahmed Tinubu campaigned with the Fort Mainland Bridge. How come to date we are not seeing a Fort Mainland Bridge? If indeed there was a blueprint, how come some of the projects initiated by Fashola were abandoned by Ambode? How come some of the ones that Ambode did, today, they are just humongous and bogus and just there? Was there indeed, because it was started until the man was excused from office. It was started as, yes, it's followed the blueprint of Lagos. So if indeed, people also have asked, if indeed there is a blueprint, where is the next road going to come out from? At least people should be able to follow this blueprint and trajectory and say, this is where Lagos is going to, this is what Lagos is going to do next. If indeed there was a blueprint, how come the Lekki corridor, the construction is taking eternity? If indeed there was a blueprint, how come the light rail, the blue light rail from Maitu that's supposed to terminate at CMS is also taking eternity to construct, when Ethiopia, that started almost at the same time, has completed theirs at half the price that we are constructing has. So these are some of the questions. That's why I'm saying
and these are
on how you are looking at these achievements.
And the questions, Jermaine, that is why, Lukman, listening to Liborous, many would say the APC is going into this election as a tested party. Whether trusted and believed is another thing that may, swing votes, in its favor or either way. Now, quickly here, Lukman, leading to 2023, what do you expect of Tinubu's camp, especially in the areas of these allegations against his name and education?
See, all these the allegations, they are coming up now, and in a few months' time, you will not hear them again. When the real campaign starts, everybody will be on the road. The only test for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu I see is the test of his health, and we want to see how he's going to embark on that campaign. It's a little different now than when you were campaigning for primaries, where you go in your private jet and then they drive you to a hall and you speak to one or two people, and then you see the traditional ruler there, and then you speak and then you go home. When the campaign starts, you'll be jumping from one stage to the other. You can do like 3 campaigns in a day. And that is when we are going to test your health. That is where the real test is. See, other political parties too will be doing their own. Everybody will be busy. And all these allegations will go, because anything you cannot test in the court of law will be futile as far as I'm concerned. When we talk about moral burden in Nigeria, we sometimes just deceive ourselves about this morality. It might be important to some of us, but I tell you, in the political sphere, everybody that has attained a particular level in politics would have been tainted one way or the other. I mean, were we not here when President Obasanjo said he made a mistake by choosing Atiku as his running mate? And what he has said in the past, he still came out to support him in 2019. So when we talk about morality, the burden of morality, it counts for little in Nigerian politics. I tell you, by the time the campaign starts, everybody will be scrambling, putting up strategies on how to win.
Can you see Liborous is saying I think Liborous is itching. Liborous, let's let Lukman land. Lukman.
We will be here. We will do another program on this stage.
Absolutely.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes in a few months. See, all these allegations will go. They will die. Sign it, die, as it has happened in the past, unless anyone can go to court and convict him.
Okay, let me let Liborous jump in here because we're almost out of time. Liborous, let's hear you. No, I think your mic.
Court of public opinion.
I can hear you now.
There's a new court. Yes, there's a new court, which is the court of public opinion. That is where these matters are tried now. Nobody is going to the court of the court of law. So in Oshomole's case, Oshomole in 2016 or so campaigned against Izeyamo. He came back in 2019 or 2021, now wanted to turn the tide. Everything he said, they were repeated against him. That cost him that election and the leadership of the party at the state. As we speak now, the same Lukman referred to Obasanjo's statement. That statement till date is taunting article in the court of public opinion. That was part of what cost Atiku a lot of votes in 2019. It's taunting him till date. Obasanjo wished he could take those statements back. But if you open your WhatsApp now, somebody probably was forwarded it to you also. So that is why I'm telling you, in the same vein, it is easy for you to think that these issues will be wished away. As long as the new media is there, which is the new court of public opinion, the new court of the people, these issues will form the campaign issue. Nobody has gone to court about the issues. It is just new media. It is just WhatsApp and internet that is throwing up this issue, and everybody is running helter-skelter. Now, Senator Tinubu had traveled to France. Some people already say he went for medical checkup. If care is not taken, don't be shocked. By tomorrow, you'll be seeing papers flying around, certificates flying around, and the rest. Because the new court of public opinion is stronger than the court of justice. So that is the new court of justice. So that is the new court where people take matters to. It is not a question. That is why, as soon as you are finishing from some of these campaigns, pictures, videos of the inner circles are surfacing on in the new court of public opinion. So let's not believe that it is the way it was before. People also have learned lessons from Buhari's presidency. And the lessons learned by these same people is going to also form some of the campaign issues with the APC. And that's why the APC needs to put his house in order, especially given the impunity and the hunger that is in the land today. You need to allow people, you need to, repose that confidence in the people. To think that campaign is going to be as usual, you just mount the rostrum and shout APC and people shout change. The moment you are leaving that platform, a lot of platforms, a lot of people are going to share events and ask questions. There are smaller communities now on the new media. These are the people that are raising the issue.
Well, as Lukman said, as Lukman has said, we'll be here, and Liborous also will be here. And the good thing, let me let you in on this. The good thing is that here on News Center, we have a show that'll be looking at Nigeria, the journey towards that election on a daily, and we do hope that we'll find time to have both of you always join us because Africa will be excited to hear your incisive analysis on Nigeria as it journeys into that election. And again, keep in mind that Kenya has an election in August. That's another big one, and I do hope again we'll have Liborous and some other Kenyans and Lukman join our African brothers and sisters in Kenya to also talk about that big election here on the continent. I'd like to thank you for being such nice company, Lukman, Owolabi, and Liborous Oshoma. Many thanks for your time, and we'll be back again here. Bye-bye.